Okay guys, in this tutorial what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a program where we're going to really kind of get deep into combo boxes and how they work and how to use these functions that you see on your screen. If you notice, it goes A through I, and there's a lot of different functions here. So we're going to write a program which is basically going to enter in a state and a capital. We're just go ahead and we'll do some easy ones. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and execute some of these things that I ask you from down here. So you'll be able to use this example to help you solve this problem. This is a really tough question, so I'm going to kind of guide you through this so you don't get too frustrated. Okay? So I just went ahead and got some states and capitals here. So we have Alabama, Montgomery, Alaska, Juneau, Arizona, Phoenix, all these. So we'll just use like 3 or 4 of these. It doesn't really matter. So we'll start with, I don't know. Let's start with Delaware, Dover, Georgia, Atlanta, and Idaho, Boise. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're going to actually keep these blank. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to get rid of all the text. It's going to be completely blank. If you want, we could do something like this. We're going to say enter state, just so we know. And then over here, let's go ahead and do enter capital. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and do this. And let's go ahead and make a button, simple button, will allow us to add states and capitals. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. And what we'll do is we'll do it here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll add a state and we'll add a capital. And we're going to ask them to do it with input boxes. So if we look back at this sheet here, we notice we have a lot of tools here. I have not memorized this myself. That's why I have this open. What we're going to do is this. We need to add an item to a combo box at a specific index. Nope, we're just going to add it to the end. So we're just going to go ahead and do this. Okay, we're going to copy this, go over here, and we're going to say this. Okay. Let's see what my combo boxes are called here. They're called combo box 3 and combo box 4. Okay. All right, that's good. And we'll paste this. And we're not going to put string here. We're going to call this string state. And we're going to call this string, it doesn't like state, so call it state 2, and then capital. Actually, let's call it str state. It makes more sense. Now you might be saying, Mr. S, you haven't defined str state and str capital. What are you doing here? So we've added them, but what we have to do first is we have to get them. So we have the adding code, that's good. So we have to go ahead and get them. So get a number from an item? No. Show an input box and get a string value? Yeah, that's pretty much what we want to do. We don't want to show an input box and get an integer value. We just need a string. So we need to show an input box and get a string value. So let's go ahead and grab this, okay? Oops. And we're going to say string str state equals okay, good. All right. You have to go ahead and import this as well. If you haven't done this yet, you have to type this line in. Import javax.swing.jOptionPane. The jOption pane is actually the input box, and what importing this does is the library that allows you to draw the input box on the screen. So if you don't put this up here, when we go down to our code down here, this jOption pane won't work. It'll actually not know what it is, right? So let's go ahead and do the other one. Okay. And we're going to call this enter state, and then enter capital. Okay. So what we've done here is we've created a string, and we've used this tool called a JOption pane, which is an input box. That's what show input dialog does. It's an input dialog box, and it'll show enter state. And what it'll do is when we type in a value, it'll get stored in the string variable called str state. After we're done with that, we're going to do the same exact process for str capital. We're going to create the string. We're going to go ahead and call the JOption pane library, and we're going to show the input box, and we're going to enter into capital. After we do that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to say this.jcombobox3.addItem. So it's going to add the item, in this case the str state, to the bottom of that combo box. And it's going to do the same thing for the next one. So let's go ahead and run this and see what it looks like. So we're going to click this. It's going to say enter state. So we'll put New Jersey and enter capital. Trenton. Okay, so now if we go here, we have New Jersey and Trenton. So you'll notice it adds it. Really cool. This is really, really neat. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is when we click New Jersey, we want to automatically have this second combo box select the capital automatically. So it just jumps right to the capital. Now you might say, Mr. Slow, how the heck do we do that? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at our tools, and we're going to pick out the ones that, would work. Okay, so let's take a look. So let's go back to our tools here. Set the correct index. That's what we want to do. So we're going to use a tool called set selected index. Now the only thing is, well, what index are we going to set? We have to get what index is currently selected on the state combo box. So how do we get the index that's selected? If you look at tool I, get the currently selected index of a combo box. So bingo, we found our two tools we need. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this, and what this will do is this will get our currently selected index. Now we don't want it in 2, we want it in 3. That's our state, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our tools panel, and we're going to select this one, okay? Select, so we're going to say this. It'll be JComboBox4, because that's the one the capital is, dot set selected index. Now we're not going to put int I here. We're going to put X, because that's what we want. Now why is there a red underline? Well, we knuckleheads forgot to put a semicolon. So let's go ahead and test this out and see if it works. Okay, so let's go ahead and add New Jersey. Okay. There's actually going to be a problem with this. The problem is this. Actually, it's fine. Let's run it. Let's try it. Okay, let's do it. And then we'll do one more. New York and Albany, okay? So New Jersey and New York, Trenton and Albany. So this didn't change. Let's take a look why. Let's see. Okay, I just paused the video for a minute. So what I did was, the code is right. We just need to put it in a different method. So let me show you how to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this code and we're going to cut it. Now this function, or that code, let's just put that back real quick, will only get executed if I click the button. I don't want that. Let me show you what I want to do. I'm going to go to my design. I'm going to go here and I'm going to right click. And I'm going to go to events. And what event do I want to do? I want to do action. No. Let's see. We have to find state changed. Right there. Item state changed. That's what we want. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put our code in here. So now when we run this, we'll just go ahead and put in some nonsense. Blah, blah 2. So when we select blah, blah 2 gets selected automatically. Let's put another one. Blah, blah 3. Let's go ahead and do another one. Blah, I should actually put New Jersey. Trenton. So let's go ahead and do New Jersey. We get Trenton. Blah, blah 2. See, they're the same. That's why this doesn't work. And enter state, enter capital. Okay, we'll put one more in. We'll put one more in. New York. And then Trenton. So let's do it. We'll go ahead and go to New York and Trenton. So the reason why this works is because we have it under this thing called JComboBox3 item state change. So in the state of the item, that means when the state is what it's currently selected. When it changes, like for example, it goes from New Jersey to New York, this method will get called. And what does this method do? Well, X will store the current selected item, right, of ComboBox3. And then what it'll do is it'll say JComboBox4.selectedIndexX. So it'll go ahead and set the selected index to whatever we selected from 3. It'll request the focus and it'll draw a new window. So this we don't need. See, if I get rid of this, it'll still work. So if we were to do this, so this will not do anything here. New Jersey. We'll do one more. New York. Okay. And then when we go ahead and see, it'll still work. We don't need the other stuff. So it's perfect, okay? The last thing we're going to do, we have a few minutes left in the video, is we're going to just show and hide. Let's just go ahead and put a panel real quick. And if you want, you can drag all these things in the panel. What I like to do on panels is change their back color. Okay. And what we'll do with this checkbox is when it's checked, we'll hide it. And when it's unchecked, we'll show it. So we have to right click and we go to events, and we're going to go to item, and item state changed. So this is again item state changed. We're going to say if this dot j, I think it's probably j checkbox 6. Let's just double check. Yep. See, it turns black, so I'll let you know you have some code there. Dot is selected. Okay, so that means if it is selected, that means what we're going to hide it. We're going to say this dot jpanel1 dot set visible false, else this dot jpanel1 dot set visible true. Okay, so let's check out how this thing works. So that's a show and hide. Pretty easy. It's pretty easy. So in this video, what you learned a lot. You learned how to use a bunch of tools, how to add things. I didn't go over how to remove because I don't have time in the video. But it's pretty much the same way. We could do something like that in the next video. We went over how to show and hide as well. So I hope you found this video helpful and you learned something from it and you're able to use this information to go ahead and solve the problem.